let's move on to our next diagram. Okay, again, Mark, please tell me what you see here.
Well, I want to just say that the talking about the hiking is a very good segue into this picture, because we're talking about restaurant noise, which can be applied to just noise in general. All right.
Okay.
But there's a little line here that depicts very quiet Western restaurant and a very noisy Asian restaurant, which is 100% true. But it applies to sort of the entire lifestyle here. And the reason I talk about hiking is, once again, okay, I feel like it's a nice Sunday morning, Saturday morning. I'd like to go for a hike because it is quiet, right? It is quiet. And but in the distance, I get to the top of a trail and there is a portable karaoke machine at 8 o'clock in the morning screaming out reverb Taiwan ballads, which is the last thing that a Westerner wants to hear on a hike.
In nature.
In nature, yes. It's not the most unnatural sound in nature.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think about how I can explain this. Okay, let me put it in this way. At the restaurant, well, back in the old time, or even for some of the more traditional restaurants right now, I would say the degree of decibels equal to the degree of happiness. So that means the louder people get, that means they really enjoy themselves, they're having a good time, and sometimes maybe they have a drink or two. So, and you tend to speak a little bit louder when you.
So you're equating loudness with happiness.
I have to say yes.
So the next time that my Asian partner yells at me, I can say, "You're not angry. You're just really happy."
Well, it depends on the context. Okay, if your Asian partner yells at you at the restaurant, okay, I mean maybe, yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yes.
I understand, right? Yeah. A busy restaurant, noisy restaurant equates to happiness. Where if I have a choice, right, and I'm going to spend my money, I'd like to go to a nice, quiet restaurant, right? But I understand in Taiwan there is an appeal to go to these louder places.
Right.
But it seems like it's very hard to find quiet places to eat, anyways.
Well, like I keep saying, a lot of younger generation right now, they do appreciate that right now. We need some alone time, but still they're trying to find some alone time in a crowded restaurant. So they might go to a packed cafe, but they choose to sit at a small table on the corner, but the cafe is still packed. So that would be their alone time. Okay. So I would say
they like crowds, right?
They like crowds, but then again, they try to break away from the crowd, but not so far away. So you can see that trend right now. The younger generation, they do think differently right now.
Show me a lineup and I'll show you a happy Taiwanese person. Right. Oh, there's a line. I can go stand in my line. It's got to be busy. There's got to be something really good happening there.
Exactly. If you see people lining up, standing in a line, okay, you won't regret it.
And as a foreigner, you see a line and you turn around and go the opposite way.
Yeah.
It's just a different perspective.
Yeah.
And please remember, these are generalizations. In general, most restaurants, I say in Taiwan and Asia, are noisy, but you can find some quiet ones. But in general, it's noisy.
Yeah. Well, by talking about Asia, I mean, you do see something like this in other Asian countries too. In Malaysia, in Thailand, in Vietnam. Okay, so like I said, the degree of decibels equal to the degree of happiness. Okay, wow, I just said something really smart right here. Okay.
Another example of the noise, which goes beyond just the volume of noise and the amount of noise, is actually the content of the noise. Now, let me give you an example.
Okay.
I used to be a member, or still am a member of a gym, an exercise facility in Taichung. And that gym itself is pretty quiet. Mm-hmm. It's not a very packed gym, but they do play their music at a very loud volume. But what is even more shocking to me is the content of what is being played. It is very explicit lyrics, a lot of really heavy rap music with words that I cannot repeat on this podcast. And it is very loud and very offensive. And maybe because it's in English, but the local Taiwanese people, first of all, the gym staff don't know what they're playing. Okay. And the locals don't know what they're listening to. Do you notice this kind of stuff, or does it just fade in for you?
Yes, it's probably because I understand English, but I do find that annoying. And I do notice that lyric thing you mentioned. Because I went to the gym and then they were playing this music as background music. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, they want to create this kind of busy atmosphere so that it's crowded, it's packed, the business is good. We have such good chemistry at the gym or at the restaurant. So they don't really care what kind of music as long as it's something make you hyped. So like hip hop, rap, and in a lot of times, and then you get to hear like in the lyrics, people sing like in all this kind of.
Didn't I just finish saying that I can't say those words on the podcast?
You can. Well, we're talking about example.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Yeah.
that is what Max just said is probably just the tip of the iceberg of the
Yes,
stuff that they say.
yes.
It is really, really offensive.
Yes, and then you hear the word like. I was like, oh my god, that's such a big no-no. And then people were like, like at the gym, like people were like, moving with the music, but then again, the intention is good. They're trying to create a happy atmosphere, okay, for the business place.
But as a foreigner, I think, okay, I own a business. I might want to have a little bit of a sense of what is being played in my facility. Right, because it is, and they get international visitors. I live here, so I'm there every day. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of part of what happens in Taiwan.
Yes.
But if, let's say, I am a minority traveling from America in that gym, and that music comes on, or it doesn't have to be a minority; it could be anybody. Is very easily offended by that music, and that's an international hotel. So you think, okay. They got to raise their standards a bit. I'm sorry, they have to.
Yeah, I do agree. Some of the lyrics that sounds really racist.
Oh, for sure.
And sexist too.
Yeah.
But have you tried file a complaint to the customer service at the gym and then to let them
I
know?
wouldn't say a complaint, but I just said, hey, do you realize that the music you're playing has a lot of bad language? And I let them go investigate. But I think it's just part of they're oblivious because. I kid you not, one day it is the most hardcore rap, offensive music, and the next day you go in there, and this is the middle of July, it's Christmas carols. Right? So it's more of a they don't really know what's going on.
Right. So, well, now that you mentioned that, I think I have an explanation that I can tie into this noise thing in Taiwanese culture. I'm thinking like for Taiwanese people that we're so used to noise is because like you do know that we have a lot of rituals, right? The temple ceremonies.
Yeah.
And every time during
and they're noisy.
Very, very noisy. Okay, very, very noisy. We have fireworks, we have loud music, we have hip hop music, super huge speakers. Okay, so in our rituals or temple ceremonies, we have that kind of music or ceremonial.
Yeah, but is that not is not the temple firecrackers and music sort of loud to scare the gods or scare the ghosts?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because back in the old days, we believe that this kind of loud noise will scare those evil spirits.
So I understand that, but I don't think that the explicit lyrics are being played in the gym to scare ghosts.
Yeah.
They're just not paying attention.
They're just not paying attention. Yeah. And then that back to what I say is that's probably how we so used to noise like that, because like back in the old days we believe that can scare off evil spirits, and then we go to temple a lot, and then we see that in a lot of religious events. So it's kind of like fade into our everyday life. So you see that you hear background music in supermarkets, in grocery stores, even
it's just always noisy.
Yeah, even garbage truck, right?
Well, the garbage truck, of course. But there's a purpose behind that. But
right.
I have to ask you this question, Max. With regards to the gym as well, Taiwanese men, especially older men, when they talk to each other, are so loud. It's like they're yelling at each other. You can literally sit outside of the locker room in the pool and hear them yelling. Right. Is that why is that? Is that like a power thing? Is it once again a show of happiness? It is so loud.
Well, I got a couple of explanations. Number one, because they are old, they might have hearing problems. So people with hearing problems, they tend to talk louder.
True.
And number two, I mean, you can interpret that as a sign of passion. Okay? I mean, when they see their friends, they will be like, "Oh, long time no see. Oh, how are you? Zimbabwe." So it's like, you know, it's like it might seem like they yell from the top of their lungs, but it's just like a sign of passion.
Is it just me, or does this phenomena seem to happen at the times when I want to be quiet? I'm sitting in a hot tub and there's two guys screaming at each other. I go lie outside in the sun after exercising. Okay, it's gonna be peaceful. And some kid is at one end of the pool and their mom is at the top of the stairs and they're yelling at each other back and forth, and the whole family starts yelling, and then because they start yelling, I'm like, where can I go to be quiet?
Right. But then again, another explanation is it's a really grassroots thing for the Taiwanese people do. Okay, because back in the old time, I mean, we don't have, like the urbanization is not like this, what we're having right now. So people are so used to more spacious living environment.
Mm-hmm.
So, imagine that you have to talk to your friends in the rice field, in the rice paddies. You don't have to yell, right?
Yeah, but
So-
not
so
everyone. Everyone was working in a rice field and yelling at little Johnny to come in from playing and stuff. So
so people kind of carry that habit
yeah.
to nowadays. So now you've been living here for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
When you've been living here for 30 years, I'm sure you'll get used to that.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go farther and farther away to find some quiet. But I'm sure around every corner in the mountains, there's gonna be some guy with a plug-in karaoke machine. Or not only that, they carry little radios.
Yeah,
By themselves. I mean, I have to walk the dog in the morning. And I'll be walking her outside, it's very quiet, and I hear this noise. You can hear it from 3 blocks away.
right.
And this guy's got his radio on his hip blasting away. I'm like, where?
Or playing music with their iPhones, something like that.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
So
noisy.
Well, like I say, in this part, the degree of decibels equal to the degree of happiness. So when you go hiking,
So Taiwan is the happiest place in the world.
well, if you want to say that, I wouldn't say no. Okay, but then again, for our listeners, you have to experience it yourself.
Sure.
Next time, go hiking. Okay, next time you'll find out.
Next time you're in a gym or a grocery store, really pay attention to the music playing. You're probably going to be surprised. It could be Jingle Bells in August.
Right.
It could be
Christmas carol,
it could be
birthday songs.
could be
or-
anything. Yeah.